All right, we are back live. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance, www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live, as always, on Ustream.tv. Tim, the producer, Patterson at the controls. Emil Soda-Popinski Kekabine right here on my right, and on the phone right now, we've got Paulie, the Magic Man MALIGNAGGI. Paulie, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How's everything going?
Everything's going fine in Chicago. Now, I mean, before we get to the chunk of the matter, there used to be a day when a boxing match was just a boxing match, and it was obvious who won. You could just look at the fight and say, well, that guy obviously won. I'm sitting here right now like the whole boxing world saying, I believe you won this fight. I mean, terrible scorecards. I personally feel, I mean, not everyone on our panel here tonight believes that you won completely, but I definitely do. And I just want to thank you. Forget about the decision for a second. Thank you for being the warrior that you are, because this sport is very much worth watching because we have fighters like Paulie MALIGNAGGI. Paulie, what do you want our listeners, what do you want all of your fans to know about the way this fight went down?
Well, pretty much, I think I made myself. I made myself clear before the fight. I made myself clear after the fight. I mean, I knew this was going to happen. I mean, the Texas Commission is known for to have some funny business go down there, and I knew I wasn't going to be the first one. So I gave you examples of why certain judges shouldn't be working the fight, and I gave you examples of why the Texas Commission has been fishy in the past. And basically, I reached out for helping hands. I reached out to the media. I reached out to anybody that would listen. And this is the problem that's wrong with boxing. The intelligent people, they want to keep it this way, because the intelligent people know how to cash in on the negative side of the business. They know how to cash in on the dirty side of the business. And then the rest of the people who aren't that smart, they're too stupid to even realize something's going on until after it happens. So, obviously, in my situation, before the fight, I said certain things. The smart people, the intelligent people, they wanted it that way. They turned their backs, obviously. And the rest of everybody was just too stupid to realize what was going on until after it happened. And then when it happened, obviously all the idiots, it's right in front of them, so obviously then they see it, everybody's going to complain. But unfortunately, that's what's wrong with boxing. Between the corruptness and the idiocy, it's really tough to fix.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen overnight, but I mean, every year you get three or four really bad decision fights, and I personally put this fight in that category. And someone says in the press 10 minutes later, "Oh, boxing got a black eye tonight. Mike Tyson bites Evander Holyfield. Oh, boxing got a black eye tonight." Boxing has no eyes left. I mean, we've just busted those eyes right out of their skull. I mean, and we have to put this down on the list. I mean, I do at least.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And, been bad decisions before. There will be bad decisions in the future. And, it's just something that it's tough to fix in boxing because, like I said, the people that are empowered are really, as much as they try to blend in with the people that complain, they don't want to fix it. Golden Boy is pretty much masqueraded as a company that's going to be a change from the Don Kings of the world, the Bob Arums of the world, and the people that really have made it tough to do business in this business. But in a position of power that they're in right now, instead of fixing the business, they're doing the same thing that Don King was doing when he was in power, Bob Arum was doing when he was at the top of his game, and Bob Arum is pretty powerful player in this game, even though King is not. But when King was at the top of it and everybody bowed down to him, these are the same kind of games he was playing, And Golden Boy Promotions is no different, They do right I think they do right and more just by their fighters than, say, Don King does. But at the end of the day, if you're not signed with Golden Boy, it doesn't mean you should be screwed. That's pretty much, I hate to say it, but out and out, I was screwed in every which way. I mean, they gave me no chance to win the fight beforehand, and then just in case I did, which I did, they made sure they screwed me in the end. I was talking earlier today with one of my advisors, and I said, just imagine we did the rematch in a situation of the opposite of what I just fought in. You put my rematch with Diaz in New York, you give me a New York judge, you give me a judge from Connecticut because that would equal the one from Oklahoma. And then you would give me a judge from Jersey, that would equal the judge from Oklahoma. And you would give me an Italian judge from Connecticut, like we had a Mexican judge from California.
Sure.
And you give me a 24-foot ring instead of the little ring that they had. If you give me those kind of advantages over Diaz that Diaz had over me, I wouldn't lose a second of the fight. Diaz had all those advantages in the opposite play, and he still couldn't beat me. And he needed the gift from the judges to beat me. If you give me all those advantages on my end, a second of the fight. it's a mismatch in every way, and people will be complaining how TV could televise such a mismatch. In order to make that fight competitive, they needed to give every advantage conceivable and possible to Juan Diaz, and that made it competitive. I'll admit the fight was competitive, but he still couldn't win it. He still wasn't good enough to win it. I needed to get robbed for Juan Diaz to win the fight. But just imagine if we did it the opposite way. The fight would be a total mismatch, and that's how many classes I am above Juan Diaz as a fighter. Right? Trying to get a rematch just to try to show and prove that. Hopefully everything can be worked out and a rematch can be made. But at the end of the day, I should be getting ready to fight for a world title or an even bigger fight than Juan Diaz. But instead, I'm left chasing for a rematch with Juan Diaz.
But do you think that's actually this fight's going to hold you back? I mean, pretty much every boxing fan knows that you fought competitively in this fight. You basically won the fight. You think you're going to have trouble getting a fight because of that? Or, I mean, I'm thinking that most people know that you won.
Trouble getting a fight, but at the end of the day, I don't want to pull another situation where I have to go to a guy's hometown to get a fight in order to get paid, and that's pretty much a situation that really is going to be presented to me. I mean, really, I still lost the fight, no matter what. At the end of the day, I'm 26-3. I'm not 27-2 in my record, but I'm coming off of a loss. I'm coming off of 2 out of 3 losses, 2 out of 3 fights that I've lost. But, it's a situation where it boils down to the final result, and the end result was a loss regardless of how I looked. And so people will try to use that against me, at the negotiating table. So the best case scenario for me is to get Diaz again. The best case scenario for everyone in boxing is to get Diaz again, because if there's any kind of justice in boxing, you give me Juan Diaz again.
Sure.
If HBO wants to make another great fight, like the first one, I don't think there's anybody that didn't think it was a very good fight for TV. HBO will have another great product if they make the rematch. You make it on neutral ground where you'll have regular judging, and everybody will get paid because it's a rematch of a very good fight. So you make a rematch, here's what would happen. The teams and the fighters will be happy.
Yep.
TV would be happy.
Oh, yeah.
The fans would be happy because they get another great fight.
Sure.
And I would win the fight because obviously I won the first one, so I'll win the fight. The second fight won even more decisively with neutral officials. And we will make a third fight. We'd make a trilogy. So you'd have a great trilogy out of this. I mean, a useless trilogy because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I will have beaten Juan Diaz every time I step in the ring with him.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you would still have a trilogy nonetheless that everyone can be happy about. Everybody makes money. Fans get entertaining fights. VO gets great ratings. And everybody goes home happy regardless. You know what I mean? So it is the best. I think at the end of the day, when we break it down, it's in everybody's best interest to do a rematch. But, I don't have the final call on that. I can only plead for one. And boxing is a funny business, and it's a funny sport sometimes. So, we've seen stranger things. We've had this is the third pretty big controversial decision in a big fight this year. Louis Collazo lost to Andre Berto. There is no rematch in that fight. Joshua Clottey lost to Miguel Cotto in a controversy. There is no rematch in that fight.
Yeah.
MALIGNAGGI was robbed against Juan Diaz. Are we finally going to get a rematch of a controversial fight? A lot of times when a guy wins a close decision and he squeaks one out and he knows he got away with one and he knows he snuck away with one, he doesn't want to give the other guy a rematch. He's happy to see that guy in the rearview mirror. He's happy he got away with one and he doesn't want to see that guy again. You know what I mean? So is Juan Diaz and his team and Golden Boy Promotions going to do the right thing and give me a rematch? I think when it boils down to Juan Diaz is a fighter and he's a warrior and he would fight me anywhere. And I think he'd be just as much up for a rematch as I am for a rematch. But at the end of the day, it's everybody's team that does the business. And, there's a lot of sneaky people in boxing. So I can see this being prevented, but I'm hoping the right thing happens and we can at least savor the situation in some way.
I like that you said that that Juan would be willing to fight you again, but maybe his handlers might not allow it. Because I'm really not interested in putting Juan Diaz down with this microphone or any microphone. I think he's a hell of a guy and a hell of a fighter, and I think you think that too.
I agree. I don't think it would be any. If the rematch doesn't get made, I don't think it's anything to do with Juan Diaz. Just like the other situations that I was dealing with before the fight have nothing to do with Juan Diaz. I mean, Willie Savannah is a pain in my ass. He made the fight 138.5 pounds. He insisted on the small ring. Then Golden Boy Promotions took his back and wouldn't change anything. Then they went and got the non-neutral officials. In between Willie Savannah and Golden Boy Promotions, the deck was super stacked against me. So it's not Juan, it's those people right there.
Yeah.
And those same exact people will be the ones to really try to make the situation as tough as possible. In a rematch, bro, we're not going to fight at 138.5 pounds. We're going to fight at 140 pounds. It's going to be this way. You know what I mean? We're going to fight with neutral officials. We're going to do everything the right way. And I want to see if Juan Diaz can even compete with me. I want to see if Juan Diaz can even make it look like he belongs in the same ring with Paul MALIGNAGGI. Because I don't think so. I have no doubt in my mind that if we do a rematch in the correct and just and neutral circumstances, Juan Diaz will come out of the fight looking like he never belonged in the ring with me. That's how many levels above I am of him. Okay, and it's not against him. So like I say, he's a warrior at heart, and he's a fighter at heart, and he'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. But at the end of the day, he's just not on my level in any way, shape, or form.
I think you could definitely have a point there. We're going to take one really quick break, and we'll be right back with Paulie Malignaggi.